And I believe we are live now. We'll just give it a second, let people join in, and then we will begin this session. Let's give it a second for people to show up. I see a lot of thumbs up coming in. Hey, everyone. Feel free to let us know where you're all tuning in from. I myself, I'm joining in from India, New Delhi. Vimukti, how about you? Where are you tuning us?
Yeah, I'm from Sri Lanka, but currently I'm based in Jordan.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, nice to meet you guys.
We have Tarak from Chennai. Hey, Tarak, how's it going? Hope all well. Perfect. We have Jim from Melbourne, and we have Rahman from Delhi, Ghislaine from Berlin, Rajesh from Pune. A lot of hands from a lot of different places. Nigeria, we have Beckinson, we have, oh my god, people are tuning in fast now. Okay, we have Dominican Republic. So people are tuning in from across all places, and that's always a good news to know. And now that I see a good show of hands, I think we can just start the session real quick. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. And I hope you're enjoying Spartans Summit so far. I'm Harshit Paul, Director of Product Marketing at LambdaTest, and I'll be your host for this session on the AI revolution in testing using KaneAI. AI isn't just about automating tasks anymore, it's transforming how we test software altogether. And one of the latest innovations in the QA space is KaneAI. And to walk us through how it's revolutionizing test automation, we have Vimukti Saranga, Associate Tech Lead at Wiley. Vimukti is a seasoned QA expert with over a decade of experience. With his background in teaching, he has unique ability to break down complex technical topics into simple, digestible insights, helping teams and individuals embrace test automation with confidence. KaneAI, on the other hand, is by LambdaTest a Gen AI native testing agent that allows your teams to plan, author, and even evolve tests, all using natural language. It is built from the ground up for high speed quality engineering teams and integrates seamlessly with the rest of platform's capabilities. And you can do pretty much test planning, execution, orchestration, and analysis using KaneAI and LambdaTest all together. Before I hand over the mic to Vimukti, let's quickly take care of a few housekeeping items. This session will be 40 minutes long, so in case you need to drop off midway, don't worry. You will get the full recording of the session over your registered email. You can also find the full recording of this session over our YouTube channel, that is LambdaTest YouTube channel. We will have a dedicated Q&A towards the end of the session, but if you have any questions while we're presenting, feel free to shoot them in the chat box while the session is going on. We'll take them towards the end. And we are running a social media concept contest as well, which is about using hashtag Spartan Summit. You can share your learnings on social media platform, and winners will be rewarded with the vouchers. And having said that, you can use the chat or the emojis which you guys have already used, but you can drop your questions in the chat window. I'll help take them towards the end. And let's hear it now from Vimukti about how AI is making testing smarter and more efficient. Vimukti, the stage is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Harshit. It was a nice introduction. So yeah, let me and also yeah, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone out there based on your location. Things like we have a nice audience covering all the globe. So yeah, I think my screen is visible now. I have
Oh,
shared.
yes, it's perfectly clear.
Yeah, great. So yeah, I hope like you guys have had a fabulous day today from the morning, learning a lot of things, all these sessions and the panel discussions. So I think now it's time to add one more to your bucket list today. So I'm going to talk about the AI revolution in testing, KaneAI, world's first Gen AI native test agent. So my session would be of two parts. First, like we can discuss what are the problem like we have in our current day to day life. Because I believe like whenever we want to go for a new tool or a technology, we first should know like what are the problems we have and like what are the issues we are going to resolve using these new tools or the technologies. So yeah, the first part will be like I will try to quickly go through that part. I know looking at the slides are very boring, and then the next part will be more interesting. I will do a demo, and also you also can get some hands-on experience using the KaneAI tool if you register on KaneAI.lambdatest.com, I think the free trial is there. Or else, yeah, even after that also you can try out because the recordings are there. I hope no one will drop out in the middle, even though the recordings are there. Yeah, okay, so let's start. So yeah, before that, like a small slide about myself. I'm Vimukti from Wiley. And if you want to reach me out for anything related to the session or anything else, you can reach me out even after the session using my LinkedIn handle. So yeah, it's Vimukti Sarang. So Vimukti dash Sarang. So you can reach. I will share the links as well later. And also, if you want to learn about full stack quality engineering, I have a YouTube channel as well. So from the very foundation things till the advanced things I am discussing, I have a playlist covering like all the features of LambdaTest as well. So you can check out that too. And also, finally, you can visit me on qvbro.pro as well. Okay, I think that's enough about myself. Without wasting any more time, let's start our topic today. So yeah, as I mentioned, so what I believe mostly is like every time, the first question we should ask before selecting any tool or a technology is like, what are the problems currently we have? Then what problems we need to get addressed. For example, let's say when we talk about the manual testing which we used to do earlier and then we switched to the automation testing as well, then why we selected automation testing over manual testing? It's because like the manual testing was not efficient enough, because every time when we get these new releases with the agile, yeah, so it was very hard to do this in sprint testing because we can't run all these test cases manually for the regression. So that's why we selected the automation. But we do now both manual and automation testing. However, like one reason for selecting automation is also some issues we had with only following the manual testing. So similar way, to select any other tool or technology also, I think you should ask this question from yourself. Why we should go, like what are the problems we have, then what things we need to get addressed using these tools, and finally, if these questions get addressed by the tool or technology, yeah, it's a go. So yeah, so I will take a day of a quality assurance engineer, generally a day of any of us when we at our work. So yeah, when we get a new release or let's say a feature story, we will start with doing this test planning, then test management, and next step is like writing these test cases for test management purposes. Even if you have any tool or else even using Excel sheet, we will write down these things for the future references, because when we do the manual testing also, we will follow the steps written in these test cases. And also when we select few of those test cases for the automation, then again we will follow the steps in written there. And also yeah, but I think this is, I know, one of the most boring aspects or the boring tasks you will do, because like this is not nothing technical, you just need to do some documentation. But yeah, we can't skip that because it is very important for our releases. So in that case we can't skip that. But then what can we do? Like we can try to make it a bit more efficient without like wasting half of a day for writing the test cases. If we can try to find a method to efficient it or to get things done more fast, then I think yeah, we can. So I see myself this place as kind of a bottleneck in our process where we can do something to make it more efficient. Then the next, after writing these test cases, then you will do yeah the manual testing, and then you will start creating your automation scripts as well. So when writing this automation, again based on your framework, if it is not too good, then yeah, you need to waste a lot of your time writing these scripts. But still again, if you have a very good framework, yeah, you might have to play with stabilizing these test cases. Then with the locators you need to play a bit, and then yeah, you have to again spend most of your time in writing these scripts as well. So if you take, let's say, half a day for these two, you have already spent like one day for kind of the documentation and the scripting part, but not actually for the testing where you will actually identify the bugs. So I think these are some places which I see kind of a bottlenecks. So we will try to let's see how can we solve these things. Then again, yeah, we need to, then after our scripts are done, we can run the regressions. And again, like based on your product and the requirements, if it needs compatibility testing, you will need to run this on web, mobile, and other platforms as well. And again, based on your framework, if it doesn't support mobile, you need to duplicate these test cases separately using APM or some other technologies like that. So yeah, again, kind of a duplication work will happen here too. And also, yeah, you need to update your test cases or your framework to run on different platforms. Likewise, there are also some play areas we can make the process more efficient. Then after that, so this is the most painful thing in our day-to-day life, debugging these failures, because not all of these failures are due to actual bugs. So if it was actual bugs, QAs will be really happy because they can report some failure. But like most of these things, most of the time will be due to environmental issues, let's say, or else some network failures. Then the issues with our script or test data, and also instabilities in our test cases, not enough weights added, or the locators, what the locators we use are not correct sometimes, or else, let's say, likewise, there are so many other reasons for these failures. Then we need to group them as well, because for, let's say, due to the same reason we can see multiple tests have failed, but we can't easily identify that. Then yeah, you need to debug, and after that you need to group these things. Okay, these things have failed due to this reason. Again, you have to spend a lot of time in these steps as well. Then, as I mentioned, if the reason was due to your test case, then yeah, you need to work on stabilizing. You need to add multiple weights, so you need to increase weights, so to change the locators and do multiple reruns and verify now it's stable or not. Again, you have to spend another half a day here. Then yeah, when you identified actual issues out of that whole bunch of failures, you yeah filter out the network related ones, environmental ones. Then yeah, you need to rerun those and verify. Then you stabilize test cases, and the remaining, the actual issues, you need to report these in your bug management tool as well. Now again, let's say you were using most of the time different tools. One tool for test case writing, then one other tool or technologies for the automation, and then another tool for reporting the bugs. So you need to like switch between different tools, and then you have copy paste data from here to there. So much of duplicated data, because the same steps will be on the, let's say, on the test case as well, test case management tool, then on the script, and then on the bug. So again, yeah, you need to waste time again for some documentation of these things. Then yeah, again, let's say after that, yeah, you can share your results with the team. And okay, now we discuss about a lot of problems in our day, general quality assurance engineers day. So then let's say we identified some areas where we can make it a bit more efficient or to make things accurate. So now we know what are the problems we have in our process, the or our journey. So next part is to like to observe or to check our the selected tool KaneAI. But don't trust me when I say now the solution is KaneAI, because we're still at the halfway point. So wait for the next part as well. So at the end of the session, obviously you can, yeah, when I do the session, the demo part, you try to map the solutions. So when I do, okay, let's say when I create the test cases using KaneAI, so you can map it with the things which we discussed previously. I mean, now the problems which we discussed. So there you can map it by yourself, how KaneAI is providing solutions to the problems which we already discussed. So at the end of the session, obviously, you will know the solution. What is the solution to all our problems? Okay, so I will, okay, now we can start the most interesting part, the demo part. So you can visit KaneAI using kanai.lambdatest.com. As I mentioned, you can register using a free trial as well. And here is the demo page. Sorry, here is the landing page for which I use for my demo purposes. Okay, so here you will see different options like create a web test, create app test. So these different options are, now KaneAI supports mobile application testing as well. So the only difference here is like if you are testing a mobile application, you can go with app test, and then you need to upload your APK file. Then once the virtual machine or the device is launching, it will launch your application as well. After that, if the steps are same as on the web test, using KaneAI, you can create these test steps. So I will today, for demo purpose, I will use the web test option. So once you click it here, you can see machine setup is in progress. So we need to give some time for the virtual machine to be ready. And by default, it will launch a Google Chrome browser. But don't worry, for your compatibility testing purposes, first we need to create the test case and save it. After that, I will show you how to create the test run. While once you create the test run, there you can configure this particular test case to be run on different other operating systems, browsers, and on different other screen resolutions as well. For the test case creation purpose, you have to use this Google Chrome browser. Okay. So using KaneAI is very, very simple. You don't need to learn anything. You don't need to have any technical background or technical knowledge or any knowledge about any programming languages or scripting languages or any automation frameworks. Using pure natural language, you can ask KaneAI to create your test cases. Simply as how you interact with ChatGPT or any other AI tool. So using KaneAI also, you can pass your natural language prompts for KaneAI. So then KaneAI will try to understand those things and do the task for you. And at the end of the day, it will generate the code as well for you. Okay. So for the demo, I will use this website, the Selenium Playground from LambdaTest. So here it has all the different components and different web pages, which you can use for your UI automation learning for those purposes. And also I will use this free API as well to show you how to integrate API calls with your KaneAI test cases. So here there are so many different endpoints. I will use this get endpoint to get a single user. Okay, so without wasting any more time, let's start the interesting part. Okay, so first things first. First, I need to launch my website on the browser to start the testing. So for doing that, I copied my URL. Then I will pass in natural language. I just simply say visit, then the URL. So it's like you communicate with some other person. So if you at your organization also, if you are working with another quality assurance engineer, it's similarly you share the steps in natural language in communication. So similar way, you can ask ChatGPT or the same way the KaneAI too. I just give visit, then the URL. So here you can see in real time the steps are executing. So it loaded the URL, the website as well. Then here there are some icons are there for different actions. These icons will be vary. So since this is opening of a page, here it had this link icon for click actions, and the likewise based on the action it's vary. Now then now you will have a problem whether can we do only these UI interactions here using KaneAI, because I know when you write your test cases using Selenium or other framework, you will try to do different things. Sometimes you might have to execute JavaScript code on the browser, right? And sometimes you have to do some API calls and get the response, then manipulate the data and then use those data maybe in your UI. For example, let's say the login part, you will try to achieve it through API call, and then once the session is created, you will just load the website. So we can save time, and also we can make the things more stable using these API calls, right? So don't worry, all these things are also possible with KaneAI. To do those integrations, so the option here, you will see a plus icon called add action. So if you click there, you will see there are bunch of options like JavaScript, API, likewise. So this is the place. If you click on the JavaScript, it will open a code snippet. So you can type your code snippet here on this window, and then you can add the step. Okay, so let's see. I will try to scroll down the page. So now you can see the page is on top. So then I will try to scroll it to the bottom of the page using JavaScript. Very simple JavaScript code. So window.scroll to. Let's try to add this step and keep your eye here on the scroll bar. And once I send the instructions, now you can see it scroll down to the bottom of the page and a script was executed. So here you can see it shows as a script. Similar way, you can execute any other JavaScript code as well on the browser. And also, not only using JavaScript, using the the all plain natural language also, you can ask KaneAI to interact with the browser, like scroll or go back, refresh. All these things are working. So let's try now, like scroll to the top of the page. Okay, now you can see it scrolled up to the top of the page. Then for the next part, let's say I want to now to show you how to do an API integration. I will use this mentioned endpoint. So using this get endpoint, it send a request to API users and then the ID user2, and you can see it will return a object, a data object of a user, having the first name, last name, and those information. So what I will do is, like, here there is a form option, input form. So I will go inside that form, and for filling that form, I will use some of this data which I received through this API code. Okay, so here, okay, so here is the option input form submit. So I hope you can see this link will open a form. So I will ask KaneAI to click input form submit link. So now if you check here, okay, it's loading, and let's see, it should click and open the page as well. Okay, now you can see here the new page was loaded, and here now you can see there is a image icon. So if you click on that, it already attached a screenshot for you for debugging purposes. So this is the place I showed you, and here they marked it in a red color box. So now let's say it actually clicked somewhere else. Don't worry, if KaneAI is uh, good at that, it won't click anywhere else. So here, let's say if it does, so in such a scenario also, using this screenshot, you can verify whether it click the actual place or a wrong place. So then you can either update to a step and you can debug. So here is the location. So it correctly identified it, and here it gives some description as well. Okay, so now here we have name, email, password fields. So since our API return a first name field name as Janet, so let's try to integrate this API code. So here is the option, second option called API. So if you go there, so I know these forms are very familiar to you. Even on any other API testing tools also, you will see the same kind of a form. Here you can select the HTTP method. Since our one is a get, I will put get, and then I will put my the URL. Since we have only path parameters, no need to worry about the query parameters, body or the header part. And here, if you want, you can set a timeout value as well. Let's say when you send the API call and if didn't send a response, then after this period, it will time out your call, because otherwise it will wait all your time and time will be wasted. So if you add the timeout, if response not received, it will time out and it will fail your test case from here due to the response timeout. Then here is the option to validate. So you can verify your test or the API call is working, and here you can see the response. Okay, it seems all good because it sent the same response, the first name as Janet. And here now it shows as added API to the test case. Here you can see now it added a new step, executing API. And here all the information, you can show the API, and also here it shows the API icon and the response. Here now the magic is, like, now once the response is received, KaneAI saved it as a variable. So here you can see set, so the variable name as the response. All these variables you can view here. So here you will see an option called variables at the top. If you click there, now you can see the whole response, not only the body, the status, the headers, and then if there were any cookies, those cookies, and the response body. Likewise, all this information was saved as a variable, and here is the variable name. So now you can easily use this variable and you can play with that, and you can extract out all the information you need, like the first name. So because it's on the response body object. So yeah, let's see how to do that. To access these variables using your instruction field, you need to add the curly braces. So yeah, before that, let's say enter. I want to give the action. So then I will put two curly braces. And now once I put two curly braces, it will like open all the available variables currently in my session. So here is our response. So here you will see the arrow. So if you click on the arrow, then you will see the objects inside that. We all the status, headers, everything is there, but what we need is the response body. If you go inside the body, then again data object, and now you can see all the fields are there. So what we need is the first name. So enter, okay, this first name as the name field, as name. So that's it. Very simple. So now you can see here, without wasting any more time or to having a learning curve, very easily using plain natural languages, you can create your test cases or the steps here. So now you can see it added name as Janet to this field, and here again it added a screenshot. So now you can verify, okay, it located the correct field and it added the value. Okay, so that is how like you can integrate API calls with your test cases on KaneAI. Other than that, we have some other options as well. The modules. The modules are like, okay, let's say for all of your test cases, you will have some common, let's say, steps, isn't it? You need to first launch the website. If it is having a login, you need to do the login. And then after the login, if you want to go to a particular page, likewise. So those steps will be repeated out throughout like almost all the test cases. So in that case, you don't need to go and create or duplicate these steps like this. What you can do is like here you can select likewise duplicating steps and save it as a module. Then you can go to modules and all these previously saved modules will be visible like this. So then you can simply add all these modules. So that means like if there were three steps inside the modules, those three steps will be added here. So then you don't need to duplicate or to create those steps. It will be directly coming from these modules. Other than that, yeah, so you already saw like how you can see the variables. Similar way, you can have parameters as well. So these parameters will be useful for your data-driven testing. Because let's say for the same form, if you try to hard code these values, and then if you want to change these values and test another scenario, then you need to duplicate the whole test case, isn't it? So why do we need to duplicate these things? Because I know you already use this data-driven testing with your other frameworks as well. So the same things you can achieve on Kane API as well. So to do this with Kane AI, what you need to do is like you can click on this parameter option. Then you can create the key value pair. First, you need to give a key. Okay, so here for the email field, let's say I will parameterize it. So what I will do is like I will go to parameter. So first I need to give a key. So this key can be used in your CSV file as in your CSV file as the header. Then you can add the value for time in, let's say, yeah. So likewise, I will add the email address. So then I will create this as a parameter. Now for the first test case, you can create, let's say, enter. So now you need to access these variables, sorry, parameters. So the parameters also now you can see a new option was added here. If you click, you can visit all the parameters. So it also saved as a key value pair. So now you can, for access these, you need to, so for variables you access using two double quotes, but two curly braces. But to access these parameters, you need to put a dollar sign and then a curly brace. So similarly, all the parameters will be visible. So enter this parameter as, let's say, email. So now here it will add. Since we create our test step as a parameter, not a hard-coded value. So later when you run your test case using the test run, there you can simply pass a CSV file. So the CSV file need to have the header as email, and then you can have any number of rows with different email addresses. So then the test will run for all these separately to have these different email values. Okay. Then yeah, similar way you can save secrets. So let's say password is not, if you think it's not secure to store as a parameter, you can save it as a secret. If you save it as a secret, it will be saved under the variables, and here you can see those things will be hidden. So that's the use of a secret. And then you can play with upload file download file scenarios as well on KaneAI. So before doing that, let's try to submit this field. Click okay. So yeah, click submit form button. I expect this to fail because there are some other mandatory fields which I didn't fill. So in that case, this form submission should fail, saying some parameters are required. So let's say, okay, let's wait till it click. Okay, you can see click the button, and here again the screenshot. And on the screenshot here, you can see on the red color it detected the button. And now, as we expected, I received the error message as well. Okay, so all this time what we tried was like trying to do some actions, but it's not all about our testing, right? We need to do some assertions as well to do these verifications. So now it's time to write a verification or assertion. So the assertions also same. Using natural language, you can ask verify. So then let's say I want to check for the exact error message. So in that case, I will put same. Please fill out this field. Let's say error message appears, and also I want to check whether the same place as well, not any other locator. So the password field appears on password field. Now let's try. So this is assertion. So it should correctly detect this particular locator, the password field, and then it should correctly detect the error message as well. Okay, let's see now. Okay, and here you can see we have if condition, and for the assertion, if condition passed, assertion was true, and the screenshot is there. Okay, if you go, it correctly identified the locator and the error message as well, and it passed. Here you can play with these assertions, soft and hard. Here there is a toggle. You can move between hard assertions and soft assertions too. Okay, so similar way you can upload files. So if for the upload file, since the test is running on the LambdaTest cloud, the virtual machine, it can't access files on your local, obviously. Right? So in that case, first you need to upload this file and save in their cloud. So for do that, you can go here and you will see the option upload from local. So from local, you can upload these files. And once you upload this, it will show all the uploaded files. And then you can select it and add file. So now this file will be added to this particular test case session, and it will also create a variable as for the file path. So here you can see it uploaded to the virtual machines download folder with this name, and it's saved as a variable. So now you know how to access these variables using test case. So you can simply say upload file, and then you can select the file path or the variable. So then it will upload the file. Okay, so that's how like you can create these test cases, the steps using natural language or plain English. There's nothing much for our side there, but there are a lot to do for the KaneAI to understand this language and to do the conversions. Okay, so now let's say we are done with our test case, then we need to save it. So here there's the option like finish test. If you click on the finish test, now it will, okay, let's wait till it loads. Here now it will ask you to select a project. You can create new project, then a folder, right? And then you can save. And also you can see here it generate a test case name and also a description based on the steps. So these things are also automatically generated using KaneAI. If you need, you can manipulate those values as well. But it automatically generate these things for us. So you can save it. So to save our time, I already saved one test case. So after saving, so you can see it like this, all the same steps are here. And if you think you need to do some edits, again, you can go and edit it as well. And also the most interesting part here is like once you create the steps, it will automatically generate a code for you. It will, by default, it will create Python Selenium. But if you need, there are other language and frameworks as well. For example, I can select Selenium Java, and then I can generate. Similar way, so you can generate these codes, and if you want to add any other logic, then you can simply go to the code, and then you can update this generated code as well. So here you can see all the code is there. Then the next step. So as I mentioned, you need to now run these test cases. So if you go to LambdaTest Test Manager, here you will see option called parameters. Here is the place where you can create these CSV files for data-driven testing. So I already created one CSV file for our email field. So let's say, so likewise, you can have any other columns if you have any other fields as well. So a simple CSV file, if you have it on your local, you can import it as well. Or else here also you can you can add any number of fields, any number of rows. So then when you select this CSV file, then the test will run 3 times for each these values. Okay, so let's see that as well. So to do that, I will go to test run. I will create a test run quickly. So I will select the type KaneAI. Then I will create my test run. And now it's showing to add test cases. So the folder and the test case which I saved. And then I will add it. And here now you will see the option called add configuration. So this is the place where you can configure this to run on multiple platforms. So here you see option called create configuration. And here you can select any OS version, then the browser, then the browser version, and the screen resolution. Likewise, you can create any combination like this and save it as your saved configuration like this. I have already created Mac, Safari, and Windows Edge. So let's say I want to run my test on all these 2 platforms. So I will select and apply. Now you can see the same test case here, and 2 instances were created for Mac and Windows. Then now you will see the option add parameters here. So using this, if you go, now you will be able to select the CSV file, the data set. So this was our data set which I created, and I will apply. If you can remember, in this data set, there were 3 different records. So that's why here it shows as 3. And if you see here, now you can see for my 3 email addresses, it added 3 separate records. So in this case, if I run this now, okay, save test run. And if you check it here, now you can see it created 4 instances. 3 instances for 3 variables of email address, and that will be run on Mac, and the next one for the Windows. So this test run will have 4 instances of the same test case. So see how we saved our time. So we didn't wanted to write manual test cases in our test case management tool separately and then go and create the scripts and then add this to the test run. No, everything by one click. So at the same time, we create the steps manually, and then automatically code was generated, and also creating steps manually was easy using KaneAI, since there was no learning curve, only natural language was there. And running also, test run also very easy. You can run this on the LambdaTest cloud hyper execute using, it will be very fast execution. So likewise, and then once you complete your test run, so you will get a report like this. So here you can see this is the same exact test case which I did on the demo. If you can remember, we didn't add any weights or anything, right? But here you can see once the test was executed, and if you check here, you can see there are steps with weight commands, weight of these different values. These were automatically added from KaneAI to stable our test cases. And here you will see also taking screenshot. So those things we didn't add. Those things were added from the KaneAI, and it made our test more accurate, and it made our test more stable as well. So everything was handled by KaneAI for us. And then also you can see all the logs, Selenium logs, console logs, likewise all the logs are there. And if you have enabled, then you can see the network logs and the other information as well. And also the last thing, so I mentioned, like if we were using the manual or our day-to-day life, then if this was failed, then you need to copy paste all this data into your bug management tool as well, like all these logs, the screenshots, the title, the steps, actual outcome, the expected outcome, everything. So yeah, here with LambdaTest, that also handled, you will see the option called create issue, and based on your organization's used the bug management tool, here you can integrate that. So all the available tools, I think, available here. So if you have connected it, so it's about simply clicking this button, because all this data will automatically shared to your bug management tool. So no need to switch between different tools and copy paste data. Okay, so back to the presentation. I think, okay, now I think it's clear, right? Because we first talked about the problems, and now we discussed about the solution. So that's why I mentioned in the beginning, don't trust me with KaneAI is the solution. But now if you have mapped it with the problems which we discussed, now you know you have already realized, I know, KaneAI is the solution, because now you can see within very quick time, it didn't take 30 minutes because I was explaining. Otherwise, like within 10 minutes, you can create a test case, run it, and you can debug it. And if there is a bug, you can report that as in. So it's all about KaneAI. So yeah, I will share the link and all the resources are here. And yeah, thank you very much for joining. And I think it's time for the Q&A.
Yes, thank you so much for that insightful walkthrough, Vimukti. You really went into the nitty gritties of KNAI, and I hope everybody was able to relate to most parts of the problems as well that you picked up, right? So, a very
Nice to hear
insightful
that.
session indeed. Yes, and we have a lot of questions in the chat as well, right?
Yeah.
So, let's start with this one. Suppose in the latest development, a bug gets introduced. The web page contains a duplicate non-mandatory field, and my test case or test run was prepared when the bug wasn't introduced. How will KNI handle this? Will it make it a pass?
Yeah. So in this case, a duplicate non-mandatory field. So yeah, I think these things, since if the test is failed, definitely KNI will identify the locator changes. And also, yeah, if let's say a locator is changed, KNI will try to identify a new locator for that. And it will notify you about on the reports, this particular thing was changed and KNI identified a new locator for that. So there also, it will save your time. You don't need to go and debug and see and identify the new locators. Using KNAI, it will already detect and it will share the new locators with you. Then you can debug and see the rest, and you can apply these changes, whether to use the new locator or else to report it as a bug. So likewise, you can proceed from there.
Yeah, so it will do the heavy lifting. It will give you automated RCA,
Yeah,
so it saves
yeah,
times
it will
basically,
save
helping
all the
you.
time.
Yes. How to rerun the branch or selected test cases which are saved, where are saved?
Yeah, because things we saved it in inside the test manager of LambdaTest. So anytime you can go and create a new test run and simply add it, or the test runs you can duplicate and run, because the test case is already saved inside LambdaTest test manager. So it won't get deleted or anything. Don't worry. Anytime if you want to do a rerun, you can simply go and create a test run as I showed, and you can add the test cases, add the configuration, so add the parameters, the CSV files, and it's about running it there.
Another quick question: can we use KNAI for Salesforce testing?
I think maybe I think this. I don't have much idea, to be honest. I think KNI team will be able to
Yeah,
help with this. Yeah,
we'll have it. You can just drop that question over to Lambda support, and we'll be able to get
yeah.
back to you on that. And how can we map test cases to Jira features for traceability?
Yeah, because there, if you saw when we create the test case, we can add this all the tags and everything. So if you need, let's say for the Jira ID, you can create a tag and then add. So then later you can filter using the tags as well. Or else, as even though the title was auto generated, if you want for the title also, if you need, you can update there as well. And also the description section, all these things are there. So all these things will be get linked. I think the best field is the tags. Add in the tag, create a Jira ID as a tag on the KNAI, and then add the tag.
Yes. Can we provide parameters for external CSV file?
Yeah. So as I showed you, there is the option to upload the CSV files. So simply you can create the CSV file in your local and then go and upload it.
We also have a question from Kailash. I'm assuming that KNAI can handle elements within iframes and Shadow DOM.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything is possible. You can play with the Selenium playground from LambdaTest as well. That also have all these different elements and different forms. So you can try out all there.
Yeah, and we have this one final question because we're running short on time.
Yeah, sure.
We're way past
Mhm.
our deadline. So, can KNAI handle non-functional testing as well?
Yeah, currently LambdaTest have a separate feature, I think, called accessibility testing. So with your test runs, you can integrate that as well.
Yeah, and we of course have. Can you show the demo using UI? So of course we can have like upcoming sessions where this can go in detail and in depth. But meanwhile, if you have any specific questions, I suggest all of you could go to lamtest.com/KNAI, which was highlighted in the uh, presentation as well. I will just quickly put that link down in the chat window as well, so everybody could go ahead and access it, and you could book a demo for yourself and see if it helps your particular testing workflows. And I think, Vimukti, let's wrap it up because we have other sessions lined
Yeah,
up. Thank you
yeah,
so
of
much
course.
for taking time out of your
Yeah,
busy schedule. This was uh, insight packed, giving a real world solutions to real world problems sort of session that we have. And thank you so much
yeah.
for
Thank you
everyone
very
who
much.
joined us in. And have a great
Yeah,
time with the Test of Spartan Summit. Happy testing.
yeah. Thank you. See you guys.